Let me ask you a serious question. Have you ever been so available, so predictable, so consistent that she stopped noticing you? That silence from her wasn't an accident. It was a reaction. Because the truth is, once a woman figures you out, she stops wondering about you. And when she stops wondering, she stops worrying. That's where most men lose the game. You become routine, comfortable, and in her mind, replaceable. But here's the thing, if you want to make a woman worry about you, not out of fear, but out of emotional tension, you have to become unpredictably valuable. Not just unpredictable, not just valuable, but both. A man who carries depth, yet doesn't fully reveal it. A man who can be emotionally present, but not always accessible. That contrast between warmth and mystery is where the power lies. Most men think being reliable means being constantly present, always texting, always calling, always doing what she expects. But real attraction is born in uncertainty. She has to feel the difference between when you're around and when you're not. That gap, that silence, it drives curiosity, and curiosity creates emotional investment. She starts thinking, why hasn't he called? What is he doing? Is he thinking about me? And suddenly you're not just a man, you're a mental loop she can't shut off. Being unpredictably valuable means showing her that you're capable of depth and connection, but also capable of walking away to focus on your purpose. You give her moments of presence where she feels seen, understood, even desired, but you also disappear, not to punish, not to play games, but because you're actually building yourself, not just pretending to be busy. This is what separates men who are chased from those who are ghosted. She has to feel like she never fully has you, that there's more to you than what she sees. That unpredictability, those small pauses, the moments where you're silent or pull back slightly, those are the moments she starts feeling emotionally off balance. Not in a manipulative way, but in a way that draws her in deeper. Because women worry about men they haven't figured out. They obsess over men whose next move they can't predict. And here's the wild part. The less you try to be predictable, the more attractive you become. You don't need to fake drama or pretend to be mysterious. You just need to actually become a man with layers, interests, discipline, and boundaries. A man who lives for more than her approval. Once you embody that energy, she will worry. She will wonder, and most importantly, she will chase. Because the man she can't fully read is the one she can't stop thinking about. Let me tell you something most men don't realize. Sometimes silence is louder than words. Most guys think that if they're not constantly talking, texting, or explaining themselves, they're losing her. But in reality, they're doing the opposite. They're making themselves too easy to reach, too easy to predict, and too easy to dismiss. You need to understand that your silence, when used correctly, is not weakness. It's power. It's presence without needing to perform. When you speak all the time, when you always feel the need to fill the silence, you give away your mystery. You give her all the answers without her even asking the questions. That's not how you build attraction. That's how you become background noise. A man who wants to be truly desired knows when to step back. He knows when to let his silence speak for him. Have you ever noticed how the mind fills in the blanks? When you stop texting first, when you stop over-explaining, when you go quiet at the right time, her brain starts creating stories. Did I say something wrong? Why isn't he replying? Is he with someone else? That's not manipulation. That's human psychology. People worry about what they can't control. And silence creates that space of uncertainty. You see, the key isn't in going silent out of spite. It's about creating emotional contrast. When you're always available, always pouring energy out, there's no mystery left. But when you occasionally withdraw, not because you're playing games, but because you're centered in your own world, she starts leaning in. She starts craving your energy again. That's when she checks her phone more. That's when she replays your last message. That's when she starts worrying, what if he's losing interest? And here's the part most men miss. Your silence must be grounded in purpose. You're not quiet because you're afraid. You're quiet because you're focused. Focused on your work, your mission, your growth. That type of silence doesn't feel cold, it feels powerful. And women feel that. They sense when you're not chasing, when you're not reacting, when you're simply moving from a place of inner strength. Don't fall for the idea that you have to be constantly present to be valued. The truth is, sometimes the most attractive thing you can do is say nothing at all. Let her wonder. Let her miss you. Let your absence build the tension your words could never create. Because when you master the art of silence, you don't just make her curious, you make her feel. Let me hit you with a hard truth. When a woman realizes she's the center of your world, she starts looking for the exit. Not because she doesn't want love or connection, but because she's wired to desire a man who's chasing something bigger than her. You want to make a woman worry about you? Make her feel like she could lose you to something greater, your mission, your purpose, your obsession with becoming more. That's the energy that keeps her up at night. Most men go wrong by trying to make the woman their priority too soon. They bend their schedule, ignore their goals, and give her all their time. At first, it might seem like she appreciates it, but over time that energy becomes needy, predictable, easy to take for granted, and nothing makes a woman more emotionally comfortable and less emotionally invested than a man who's already handed her everything. You see, a woman only worries about losing you when she knows you have something that pulls your attention stronger than she ever could. It's not about ignoring her. It's about showing her that your vision is non-negotiable. When you move like a man who's driven, when she sees that your discipline, your ambition, your hunger for more comes first, she doesn't relax. She studies you. She overthinks. She starts analyzing your silence, your distance, your pace. She becomes emotionally involved because she senses that you're not easily owned. And here's the beautiful paradox. The less you make her your obsession, the more she becomes obsessed with you. When your schedule is full because you're building something real, your business, your body, your future, it communicates that you're not dependent on her for emotional survival. That independence is rare. It's intoxicating. It creates a tension that makes her want to prove she's worth your time. Don't be the man who gives up everything for a woman who hasn't even earned him yet. Be the man who's so focused she has to fight for a place in your life. That's where the real power is. Because when she sees you walking in purpose, making moves, leveling up without needing her attention, she won't just worry, she'll chase. She'll want to be part of that journey because now you are the prize. And understand this. Purpose doesn't mean you don't care. It means your care has structure. It has value. You don't give it away freely. You give it to the woman who earns it by respecting your time, your vision, and the fire that drives you. That's what separates the man who gets played from the man who stays on her mind long after he's left the room. Because when your mission becomes your focus, you don't just inspire her. You make her fear the day she's no longer part of your story. If you give her everything too soon, she stops valuing anything at all. That's what most men don't understand. You want to make a woman worry about losing you? You need to master the art of emotional scarcity. The more often something is available, the less it's appreciated. The more rare and selective it is, the more it's craved. This is not just about time, it's about emotion. About how much of your heart, your thoughts, your energy you pour into her without her having to earn it. Too many men wear their emotions on their sleeve from day one. They pour affection, compliments, reassurance, constant check-ins, all before the woman has invested anything meaningful in return. At first it may feel good to her, but over time it becomes too easy, too safe, too expected. And when something becomes expected, it becomes boring. The tension disappears, the emotional spark, gone. She stops worrying because she knows you'll always be there, always available, always giving. And the truth is, there's no urgency in certainty. What makes a woman think about you, obsess over you, worry about you is the emotional contrast you create when she doesn't know exactly how much of you she'll get, when she starts noticing that your affection is real but rare, when she can't predict whether you'll be emotionally warm or calmly distant. That creates emotional movement inside her, that unpredictability. It fuels her thoughts. It keeps you in her mind longer than the man who says, "I love you 10 times a day." I'm not saying to be cold. I'm saying be measured. Be intentional. When you give her vulnerability, make it count. When you open up, let it be raw and real, but don't make it routine. Your emotions should feel like a reward, not a free sample. You want her to earn access to your deeper side. To know that when you do show up emotionally, it means something. And you do this by living with standards, not just for her, but for yourself. You control your availability. You don't explain every feeling. You don't chase her energy when yours is already valuable. You're not a faucet of validation. You're a well she has to dig into. And when she finds something, it's powerful, but it's never guaranteed. She'll start worrying when she realizes that losing you means losing something she can't easily replace. A man who gave her just enough to feel special, but not enough to feel safe. A man who made her question, wonder, and want more. That kind of emotional scarcity is what makes her heartbeat speed up when your name pops up, or when it doesn't. Because when you give less, but make it mean more, she'll never stop trying to get closer to what you haven't fully revealed. If she can pull you into her emotional roller coaster anytime she wants, she'll never worry about losing you. That might sound harsh, but it's the truth. The moment you start reacting instead of leading, she senses it. And once she knows she controls the emotional tone of every interaction, she no longer sees you as the one in charge of the frame. She starts losing respect, even if she doesn't say it. And respect is the foundation of attraction. You see, most men are too quick to fall into her frame. She gets upset and they start apologizing even if they did nothing wrong. She becomes distant and they panic and chase. She pulls away and they try harder. That's not emotional strength. That's emotional dependency, and women can smell it. When you let her dictate the emotional rhythm of the relationship, you're no longer the man she looked up to. You're just another guy she can influence with mood swings. A high-value man does something different. He creates the emotional frame and he stays in it. That means if she gets cold, he remains calm. If she tests him, he doesn't flinch. If she gets overly emotional, he doesn't match her energy. He anchors it. He understands that leadership in relationships isn't just financial or physical, it's emotional. And whoever controls the emotional frame controls the pace of the relationship. When you stay grounded in your emotional state, you send a clear signal. I'm not easily moved. You don't get to control my reactions. That's when she starts worrying, not because you're mean, but because you're unshakable. Because she knows she can't manipulate you with silence, with attitude, or with attention games. You've removed her ability to destabilize you. And that's power. That's presence. It doesn't mean you're cold or heartless. It means you choose when and how to respond. You're not reactive. You're selective. You're the one steering the energy. And ironically, when you stop letting her emotions dictate your behavior, she feels safer around you, more drawn to you. She respects you more because she knows you won't crumble when she gets difficult. And here's the twist. When you stop needing her emotional validation, she starts seeking yours. She becomes more careful with her words, more mindful of her behavior, more invested in your attention. Because now she's operating in your frame. Now she's wondering, did I go too far? Is he pulling away? Does he still want me? That emotional uncertainty, that's what keeps her thinking about you. That's what makes her worry. Because the man who holds the emotional frame doesn't just attract her, he changes the game completely. Let me tell you something that'll either make you uncomfortable or powerful. Women are only truly worried about losing a man when they know he could be wanted by others. It's not enough to tell her you're loyal. It's not enough to tell her you love her. If she believes you have no other options, she stops seeing you as a prize. But the moment she senses that other women would want you, that you could walk away and still be desired, you instantly become more valuable in her eyes. It's not about cheating. It's not about being disloyal. It's about perception. You don't need to actually entertain other women, but she needs to know you could. That if she disrespects your time, your values, or your presence, you won't sit around waiting. You're not desperate. You're not clinging. You're a man with options, even if you choose not to use them. Too many men make the mistake of putting all their emotional eggs in one basket too soon. They cut off their energy from the world, isolate themselves, and start acting like this one woman is their only chance at love, intimacy, and connection. And trust me, she feels that energy of lack, that fear of losing her. It doesn't make her feel special. It makes her feel like you're too available, too easy, too replaceable. Now imagine this instead. She sees you walking with confidence. You have female friends, women laugh around you, and people respect you. You don't brag. You don't try to prove anything. But you carry yourself like a man who doesn't need to beg for anyone's attention. That alone makes her think twice. She starts paying more attention. She notices how you move in the world, how others respond to your presence. And suddenly, she's not so comfortable anymore. This is when her mind starts racing. What if he finds someone better? What if another woman gives him what I'm holding back? What if I lose him to someone who actually sees his value? That internal fear, it's not toxic, it's human. It keeps her invested, it keeps her emotionally engaged. It's what turns casual interest into obsession. And again, this doesn't mean you flirt with other women or disrespect your relationship. It means you carry the energy of a man who doesn't need her, but chooses her. And that choice, when it's real and rare, becomes everything. Women don't want to feel like they're your only option. They want to feel like they're your best option. So never let her believe that she's the only one who could ever want you. Let your life, your mindset, your presence prove otherwise. Let her feel the tension of knowing that if she slips, she might just lose something other women are silently hoping she fumbles. Because when she knows you're loyal, but never desperate, she'll never stop worrying about keeping you.